All right, welcome. This is my second unboxing of something I've recently picked up, the Worthington Publishing's Civil War Brigade series. Previously, I did the 7 Days Battle, which is actually their latest Volume 3. This is the second edition of, I don't know if this is Volume 1 or 2, but it's the second edition of Antietam. McClellan versus Lee, the famous one where McClellan got the copy of Lee's plans wrapped up in a cigar from a courier, but he couldn't believe it was for real, and he was again cautious when he could have had a chance. And this turned into a bloody stalemate. But I think because Lee didn't win, I'm hoping I'm getting my history right. Lincoln felt confident to do the Emancipation Proclamation after this battle. So, Antietam, Worthington Publishing. Let's go to the other side here. Bloodiest day in American history. Yeah. Each cavalry infantry is a brigade. Strength point is 100 men. Color boxes show strength and morale. We saw that. Veteran or crack, green veteran or crack. Each artillery point represents 2 cannon. 250 yards per hex. Based on extensive research, will provide countless replays. 2 players, can be played solitaire. Looking forward to that. Just gotta make or get a vassal mod. 4 out of 10 for difficulty, so not quite as difficult or complex as the Herman Luttman 2 different systems he has, 14 plus. 3 to 6 hours. Let's see if they talk about it. 1 mounted game board, 4 counter sheets, dice, rulebook, battlebook, player aid cards. Pretty standard. So that's what we saw in the 7 Days battles. What's unique about that one, though, is it had 2 mounted map boards and they're reversible. This one just has 1 map. Here it is, Antietam. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's in the box here. And like we see, they do come, actually they're the same color. That's interesting. D10. If you had to roll like 1 to 100, you'd have to pick 1 as 10s and 1 as 0s. I guess you don't have to do that. Sorry, just like rolling dice here. Then we've got the maps. It's mounted, and it is just 1 map. There we go. We'll take a look at that in a second. Oh, here's something interesting. Didn't see this in the other one. They actually, it looks like this is a Confederate chain of command. Nice. Guess that's pretty helpful if you're kind of confused. And you do see, obviously, now the color coding. Sorry about the glare. Here we got Lee in command, and then it looks like Jackson and Longstreet. And these are underneath, these are, I don't know, I want to say divisions. 2 corps and a division. Longstreet has more. Here's Stewart and the cavalry over here. Is this yeah, it's 2-sided. I think this is more informational. You're not going to put your counters on this. And McClellan actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corps. Wow. Hooker, Sumner, Porter, Franklin, Burnside, Mansfield, and Pleasanton is his cavalry commander, it looks like. So this is pretty helpful, informative here. This is an order of battle, chain of command, I guess. Because command control is important, so I guess this is telling you at least you can go to Jackson and then to Lee for these guys and these guys. Although for the Union, wow. Don't mix up your corps, I guess. Color coding is per division, I'm guessing. And you got to know what divisions are under what corps. But luckily it looks, yeah, they got the word Burnside on all these. So you can also pick up, hey, who's the corps commander from the counter. Okay. Civil War series rules. I kind of covered that a bit in my previous one here for 7 Years of War. And I'd probably go out and get the latest PDF from BGG or the Worthington support site to make sure I have the latest rule. Stacking, that's the key one, only 1 combat unit per hex. Non-combat, you can have leaders, etc. But that's why combining with the strength markers, it doesn't become unwieldy, potentially. Color coding tells us morale, and then that's the original strength point, I guess, and then you decrease it. Explanation, obviously, kind of intuitive. Horsemen is cavalry, artillery, etc. Turn sequence, we saw that before. Command phase. Who's in command? I guess that limits what they can do. Organizational phase, offensive artillery. Movement combat, and then when we do combat, the defending player can defensive fire first before the first player does fire. So that's definitely something to take into effect when you're attacking. Out of command. Remains out of command that entire turn. May not move into enemy Zoc. Well, there you go. That's a big one right there. But may remain in Zoc if they're there. That's a big one. You're not going to be attacking with out of control. Talk about leaders here. They provide modifiers to combat. Leader range. Organization phrase. If the scenario allows it, you can do this stuff. Breastworks, burn bridges, depots, rail lines, search for fords for rivers. Then offensive fire from artillery, unlimbered. The flip side of an artillery piece shows it in its limbered form where it can move. Movement phase, set movement like we talked about here. Infantry, dismounted cav, limbered artillery can move 6 movement points. Mounted cav, leaders can go 9. Examples of play, good stuff. How to do cavalry mount and dismount. I'm thinking that's, oh, there's a special marker. Dismounted. Then the cavalry acts like infantry. Column movement bonus. Reinforcements, combat phase. Only infantry, dismounted cav, and unlimited artillery may fire. Makes sense. Defensive fire, offensive fire. There is line of sight, mainly for the artillery, and they talk about on the terrain effects chart what blocks. Fire combat procedure, and then the results, morale check, or a number of steps lost, and a morale check, or a number of steps lost, retreat, and still a morale check. And like we saw before, the morale, you can tell from the color here. Gold is gold standard, I guess. Morale is 9. Black is kind of like middle, veteran, standard 7. Green units, morale of 5. And I'm guessing you have to roll equal to or less than to pass the morale check. And here's a morale check procedure with an example of play. Retreat and potentially rout. There's a route marker out there. And advanced rally phase, night turns. Wow. Night turns, tide of battle, markers, etc. Scenario setup. So that's the series rules. And I found in my previous one that pretty much is the majority of the rules here. We got some player aid charts. And this is pretty straightforward. Let's see if I can make it. Well, no, this, oh, it's on the back of the playbook. Okay. Well, here they are too as player aid charts. Here we go. Let's look at that. It's 2 of the same, and it tells you your movement capabilities. That makes sense from the rules. Morale numbers, good. Fire range, only unlimited artillery is doing 2 to 5. Combat results table, morale checks, step losses, retreats, routes. Good stuff. Oh, they got a terrain effects die roll modifiers. Target in woods, terrain, or town. Entrenched. Sunken road, yeah. They give die roll modifiers, and then it looks like it's repeated here too. Terrain bonus in the terrain effects chart, and then see if there's hills here. May block loss. Towns and woods does. Okay. So you can look at that. So that's cool. And here's the playbook for Antietam. Following rules do not apply. You're not building breastworks, you're not burning bridges or searching for fords, and there's no night turns. Makes things a little easier. Union off-map movement, senior areas 3 and 4, so these are what I call special rules. Following applies to all scenarios. Unions first, each corps division set up and adjacent. Okay, so these are special rules for the scenario, for the playbook, and then we're right into the scenarios. So not a lot of special rules. And we got the morning attack, the bloody lane. I'm not up on my history on Antietam as much as I should be, Burnside's Bridge, and oh, the full battle. So yeah, we got 4 scenarios, with the 4th one being the whole battle. You have 3 smaller scenarios here. The initial attack, it looks like here, and you see Confederate reinforcements coming in. Union also. Then the Bloody Lane, this looks kind of small here. So just a piece of the battle here. And then Burnside's Bridge. Oh, I'll have to read my history on that. And then you put it all together, and special rules, I guess, for this one, for the whole battle. So definitely not too complex. Let's see what we got left here. We got the counter sheets, and I guess I can pull out the map too, but a lot of Union forces there. Yeah, usually this is what I saw with the other one. You got 2 whole sheets of strength markers, fired markers for your artillery when they fire. Here's your cavalry dismounted. If I flip side it, it's the same. Dismounted, fired. The numbers change though to give you a full spectrum of numbers, but these 2 are pretty standard. We'll put these aside, but here are the opposing forces. So many Union forces has filled up the whole sheet, and Confederate though not quite as much. So we can do out of command markers, and we do see the different forces we saw on the order of battle, color-coded by division, but corps seems to be indicated. There we go, Hooker, 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 Hooker. So it's telling you which corps it is. And again, the counters are reasonably thick. There you go. And they fall out easily. They've got a little texture to the top of them too, and obviously you can see they're rounded. It's a new way of doing counters, I guess, and they're not small. Unlike when I started, when they were small, little ones packed in. So there you go. And then if we flip one of these, we do see, yeah, when cavalry is limbered, you got a limbered marker here. But apparently when the artillery is limbered, I misspoke there. But if you're doing cavalry, I guess you use a dismounted marker. Yeah. So everything's here. Based on reading the rules and not as many special rules, I can tell you probably the majority of the rules are the same between this game and the other games. So you do have that once you learn one, you can pretty much play the others, because the special rules are not very much. 1 page, half a page, maybe at most, it looks like. So last thing to look at here is, of course, the map, the mounted map. Here it is. Antietam, we've got a lost track here. I'm assuming we have a game turn track somewhere else. Sorry, I can never, let me do this off screen before I hurt myself. Yeah, anyway, here's, you're beginning to see the map. I do like the graphics, they're clean. My guess is we've got a hill here. Didn't see that in the 7 days. And if you know the history, you can probably start identifying all of these locations, but it's a nice clean map. Let's do it this way. Yeah, here we go. I'm kind of chopping the map here, but it gives you a picture, and we do see there's tracks down here. Oh, and they've even got a terrain effects chart on it. Hold on, or terrain identification. Yeah, there we go. Here's a turn track. Each turn looks like an hour. Here's your lost track. And then they show you level 1, level 2, level 3. Pretty handy here. You got a farm, a town, steep, woods, orchard, cornfield, the dreaded sunken road. So that's what that looks like. Here's a ford, and that's what a bridge looks like. So that's pretty handy too. Yeah, pretty cool. And it's only one-sided, but this pretty much covers the whole battle here. So again, volume, I didn't read it yet. Volume, I think this may have been the first one. That's why it's second edition. Yep, this one is Volume 1. Volume 2 is Shiloh. I don't have that, but I do have Volume 3, which I've done a previous video on. So I am definitely looking forward to getting into this series because from what I've read on BGG, the rules, they're not too complex, but they do recreate the battle, I guess is what people have said. So I'll look at this. This is a good way to be playable Civil War Brigade series here. So I'm looking forward to trying these out. And if they're good, I guess when the Gettysburg one comes out, I'll get that. Because again, once you learn the series rules, you've pretty much got a good chunk, if not a good majority of the rules put away, and you can pretty much play any game in the series there. So, so there we go. Antietam, Worthington Publishing, old school war games here. Volume 1 in their Civil War Brigade series, which is soon to expand to their 4th volume of Gettysburg, which at this point I'm kind of looking forward to. Oh, let me leave that on the screen there so we'll kind of close out there. So again, thanks for listening. If you like, click like. Any comments or experience with the game, greatly appreciated. I will pull this call out if you've... Well, I'm waiting for vassal mods, or I'm going to have to make my own vassal mods for these. The only problem is with mounted maps, I can't take it to my local office store and have them run it through their scanner. So, you know, if anybody's actually done a really good scan of the map, there's scans of the maps for these games on BGG, but they're low resolution. But or otherwise, I'll try and have to figure out how to make my own map and go from there. But I hope to get these on the table, probably the 7 days battles first, but or maybe Antietam. Hope to get them here on the table in about a month or two. So, thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. See you at the next one.